Hello, I'm Alan, and welcome to today's edition of Alan's Cycling Adventures. Today we are going to Grants, New Mexico, and up and over the Continental Divide. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Click the subscribe button to subscribe to my channel. And if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or ideas for future editions of Alan's Cycling Adventures, be sure to leave them in the comments below. Well, without further ado, and I really mean it today, without further ado, let's ride. Today was really such a great ride. Not a hard ride today. It was uphill to the Continental Divide, but not steeply uphill, just kind of a constant uphill the first half of the ride. And then the second half of the ride was all downhill. Not a steep downhill, but enough where if you wanted to, you could have coasted all the way to the hotel. We did go from Gallup, New Mexico to Grants, New Mexico. I departed at 7:36 a.m. and the weather at the start, according to Strava, was cloudy. Although I'm looking at it, it doesn't look all that cloudy. 47 degrees with a feels like temperature of 45. Humidity was 54%. I think that's the highest humidity we've had on this trip so far. And the wind was 3.1 miles per hour from the south. I rode today 65.93 miles at an average moving speed of 16.4 miles per hour and a maximum speed of 28.3 miles per hour. There's a funny story about that 28.3. I will get to it at the end of this voiceover. I had a total moving time of 4 hours, 0 minutes, and 48 seconds, and an elapsed time of 5 hours, 24 minutes, and 34 seconds. And I'll talk a little bit about why there was such a gap between those two also towards the end. My average heart rate was 113 beats per minute, and my maximum was 134 beats per minute. According to Garmin and Strava, I burned 1,285 calories. I had an average cadence today of 64 RPM and a maximum cadence of 99 RPM. In terms of elevation gain, all of the elevation gain was in the first 27, 28 miles. We gained, according to Strava's map data, we gained 1,208 feet. And according to Garmin's barometric data, 1,217 feet. So not a lot of difference there. I had a total of 12,910 pedal strokes. And according to Strava, I had an average power output of 97 watts. Most notable for this trip was today I had 0 flats. There were people in our group who got flats. I guess a couple of people probably got them where we were on I-40. A couple of people got flats going over the last overpass leading to the hotel. Of all places to get a flat right before you get to the hotel, but it happens. As a matter of fact, it happened to me the other day. I had a flat just before the hotel, and 2 days in a row I had flats that I discovered after getting to the hotel and having dinner. There was one Garmin climb on today's route at 20 miles in, 1.86 miles in length, 295 feet elevation gain, average gradient of 3%. And I'm going to pause for a moment here. All right, I am here at the Continental Divide, elevation 7,295 feet. And the rest of today's ride is pretty much downhill. So should be a fun, fast finish to the hotel. And there's the sign. I think that's also going to be the thumbnail for this video. Anyway, it's time to hit the road. See you at the finish. Today's route was actually mostly on historic Route 66. Of course, Route 66 is not a continuous route, so we did have to ride a little bit on I-40, but we stayed off of I-40 as much as possible, I think. I did have one little glitch just before we merged onto I-40. My computer froze, and so I stopped and couldn't get it working again. I pulled out my cue sheet and then realized that that was going to be tough because without the computer I don't have anything to measure distance by. So I held in the power button for what seemed like forever, and eventually it shut itself off, and then when I started it back up, it worked fine. So, like they say, when in doubt, reboot. And I'm glad I was able to reboot. In terms of the second half of this ride, I did want to comment on that a little bit. The second half, from the Continental Divide to Grants, I think was my favorite part of the ride. It was just, I was out there by myself for the most part. Not a lot of traffic, great pavement, beautiful scenery. It's hard to tell from this perspective from the camera, but off to the north on our left, there were these beautiful rock formations. Off to our right were these pastures. We saw horses. We saw a few wild goats. There were a number of places where I thought it would have been nice to stop to take some pictures, but early in that second half, I decided I was just going to soft pedal and enjoy the scenery and enjoy the ride and enjoy the serenity and just relax. It's something we hadn't been able to do over the last few days with riding on I-40, and so it was a nice welcome change. Now, you probably noticed that there are some clouds rolling in. There were two downsides. I mean, this would have been absolute heaven were it not for my saddle sores. Sorry if that's too much information, but I have managed to pick up a couple of saddle sores on this trip, and I will be taking a few weeks off of the bike when this trip is over so that they can fully heal. But yeah, without the saddle sores, this would have been heaven. And we did get caught in some rain and nearly got caught in a pretty heavy thunderstorm. It was kind of funny. I was just riding along, soft pedaling, and then the clouds rolled in and it started to rain, but it was light rain, so I didn't worry about it too much. And then the rain got heavier and I started pedaling a little faster. And then the rain cleared up and I started going back to soft pedaling. And then it started drizzling again. And then it started raining harder. And then I heard rumbles of thunder. And I looked at the computer and I was about 3 miles from McDonald's. And that was the fastest 3 miles I have ridden in a long time. In terms of where we rode today, we started in Gallup, rode through Rehoboth, Church Rock, Wingate, Perea, Coolidge. Then we had a sag stop at the Continental Divide, Thoreau, Pruitt, Blue Water, Milan, and Grants. Tomorrow we go on to Albuquerque. Should be a nice ride, although it looks like it has the potential to be a wet day. So we'll see how tomorrow turns out. Hope you enjoyed the video. That was a lot of fun, especially the second half. Well, until next time, stay safe out there.